So, Kent, we base each episode on a question and theme and go wherever the answers and conversation takes us. Our question and theme today is, does Canada have a wrongful conviction problem? And from that theme, what I'd really like to do is dive into defining what we're talking about and exploring the gravity of the issue further. Of course, our conversation is based off your book today, Wrongfully Convicted. So let's start off with a definition, actually.
Sure.
What do we mean by wrongful conviction? There might be a lot of people have perceptions about this in the media and what they hear, but of course, being a law expert, what do we actually mean by that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good and it's a very important question, Alex. I mean, the way that I use wrongful convictions in the book, and the book is really based on a registry of wrongful convictions that viewers can look at Wrongful Convictions. It was co-developed with Amanda Carling, who I taught wrongful convictions with after she spent 4 years working with Innocence Canada, and we had assistance from a lot of University of Toronto law professors. The definition we use, which is very similar to the definition of the American Registry of Wrongful Convictions, is someone who is convicted at trial and then there is new evidence that is discovered that is relevant to guilt or innocence. So not, new evidence about, a charter violation unless it's relevant to guilt or innocence. And that conviction is undone and is either replaced with an acquittal, either by the appeal court or by the trial court, or the prosecutor says, I'm not going to prosecute this because there is no reasonable prospect of conviction. So basically, I would call this the registry definition, and it's different than the ones that the Innocence Projects use. So the Innocence Projects really started with Barry Scheck and Peter Neufeld at Cardozo. They've done wonderful work, but they, on the basis of DNA evidence, make claims of innocence. The reason we don't make claims of innocence in none of the registries, and all of the registries are based in universities, is that in Anglo-American criminal justice systems, there is no determination of innocence. Instead of innocence, we have a presumption of innocence, which in some ways is restored once the conviction is quashed, especially on the basis of new evidence. So that's the definition we use, and I guess by that definition, we do have a wrongful conviction problem. We launched the registry in early 2023 with 83 remedied wrongful convictions. We're now up to 89 since that time. Now, to put things in perspective, the American registry has just registered its 3,500th exoneration. So if you were to go by population, maybe we're just not finding as many wrongful convictions because we would be up around 350. The British registry out of the University of Essex has about 460 or 470. So again, less remedied wrongful convictions. But the thing that's very difficult about wrongful convictions is we as scholars can really only study the ones that are remedied, and we don't know how many are not remedied. So that's the figure that I don't think really anyone can do more than take a guesstimate about. But what the registry has done, and the registries throughout the world, there's now a European registry, is it's an attempt to measure errors that the legal system on its own terms measures as opposed to saying that this person is factually innocent. The other reason why we don't make declarations of factual innocence is that they are really tied up with DNA evidence, although even
Right.
sometimes factual innocence is disputed by police and prosecutors when the DNA excludes the accused. And again, most estimates suggest that although DNA technology has gotten better, it's only going to be a factor in about 20% of the cases. And one of the interesting things with the American registry is you see DNA exonerations continuing about 20 to 30 a year. In Canada, we don't have that. So, we haven't really had a DNA exoneration. I mean, everyone thinks of Guy Paul Morin, David Milgaard. And I think maybe one of the explanations for that is our police may be more competent in cases where there are DNA and they can get a DNA warrant. Unfortunately, we don't have data about how many times the DNA warrant excludes the suspect, thus preventing a wrongful conviction. There was an early American study that suggested that in about 25% of the cases where the state thought it was important enough to get DNA, the DNA actually excluded the suspect.